Okay, welcome back to the Voice of Metal. We'll see if we can do this again for the second or third time. Just so you know, last week I apparently didn't have any sound on my microphone, wasn't working or whatever, so nobody could hear what I was saying, and that was really depressing. So I'm kind of going to touch a little bit about what I talked about last time. Basically, what it boils down to is I saw an article a little more about the new Pantera from Kittie's Morgan Lander, and she was talking about how she was kind of understanding the whole idea about where the band was doing it for the reason that a new generation could kind of, how you say, have that feeling and experience of Pantera itself to a point. But yet she says the essence with the Abbott brothers not there. It makes it a little bit less like Pantera because that was kind of the heart and soul. They were the founding people. For me, in my opinion on it, I don't know. I think a lot of the diehard fans out there, which have had some issues with it, and pretty. I've heard that some people have some pretty strong, uh, how you say, opinions about that. And I did put a poll inside my community page, so go check that out. Let me know what you guys think because I want to hear you. Because this is what this is about: the voice of metal, the voice of the people, the voice of the band, to get to know the people in the band because we want to hear what they have to say too. It's not just about all the controversy and this that there. It's really about getting to know the guys in the band, and I know that maybe that might come up in the conversation, like if I were to have somebody in the Pantera group later on down the road say, okay, what was your reasoning for doing what you're doing? Because a lot of people might go, yeah, I like to have the idea of the Pantera band being back, but do we really want to? Should we do that? Because I guess with Vinny, from what I've read, I've seen him say it on an interview he did with somebody about reunion tours and how it's not this, that, and the other. But that brings me to another topic, which is rather interesting, is bands that heavy bands that are really good, but they don't have any of the original members, which actually some of them I don't know that well. So I mean, I've heard the names, but I don't know the members of the band or who they started off with. Cap, Cattle Decapitation was one apparently, so they have none of the original members left, which is rather interesting. And it's kind of weird. It's different. I never knew that. Gore, which I thought maybe they still had some of the original members, but apparently not. I guess with all the masks and stuff, they could probably do that. It's kind of like Slipknot. You can replace some of the band members in there. The singer, it's hard to say. You may not have quite the exact same sound they originally had with the band. Just kind of like Pantera. Without the original singer, it might not be the same sounding band. And if somebody can play a guitar, whether it's the exact same, probably not. Um, and I guess this is what this all is about: is do we think that it's okay for them to continue with that going forward because of the fact that they're not the original members in the band? Well, we've already seen a lot of them. Actually, I didn't know this. In Flames, I don't know that. I just recently, within the last year or so, started listening to In Flames and these other ones. Judas Priest I've heard before, which I did not know that it was actually he was actually I mean the Judas Priest band itself did not have all the original members, which is kind of interesting. Especially the vocalist. Wow. John Perry, the guitarist who died from suicide shortly after their reformation. Wow, that's crazy. Hmm, that's interesting. I didn't know that either. Oh, and Lauren Shore. I didn't know Lauren Shore that much before this, so but I definitely have been very well impressed with their music so far. So it'll be interesting to hear some of the old stuff versus the new stuff if they still have that. Like, I know with some of the new, the guys when they started versus now, they might have a different singer, so it might not sound the same. So it'd be interesting to hear that difference. I think maybe, I don't know. I thought Exodus was one of those bands that had the same original singer, but I don't know. But it sounds different to me. Um, Napalm Death is another one apparently, which is rather interesting. It's I'm trying to read this. Sorry. Hmm, that's interesting, which I didn't know. Um, Opeth, which I definitely like quite a few of their songs, which is another one I did not know. Now this is the one. This is the one. Pantera. Okay, this has none of the original members left. I guess the lead vocalist was replaced later on. Of course, we all know who that is, right? Philip, um, which he's gotten the band later on. We know Dimebag and Vinny are gone. Rex. Oh, okay. See, I didn't know their second bassist Rex Brown replaced Tommy Bradford in '82, which I did not know. So I always just enjoyed the music, but I never got the whole thing. And then now they're doing the reunion tour that replaces Vinny and Dimebag for that. Now this is the one that really kind of surprised me. I know the singer was definitely different, but as far as all the other guys, I did not realize that they had replaced. Oh, I know that in the drummer, of course, because it's Max and Igor Cavalera that started the group in the first place, kind of like the brothers in Pantera, which is rather interesting. Derek Green took over the mic in '97, apparently, and his brother Igor co-founded the band in '84 as teenagers with White. Wagner Lambert held down the mic during their first 2 years. Okay. Max stepped up to the plate in '85 and roared, okay, that's why. That makes sense. Basically include the most revered album, Beneath the Remains, Arise, Chaos AD, and Roots. Which those are the ones that I started originally listening to. I didn't get to hear the Beneath the Remains right off the bat, but until later on. Then I guess Igor split in 2006, leaving bassist Polio Jr., the longest running member. He joined the band in '84, but technically there was another bassist, Robert. I guess was the other person that was in that position at the time. But I know Polio Jr. was definitely been in the band for almost from the very beginning, which I didn't realize he was replaced, that's news to me. Um, there's Trivium, which I didn't know either. That's rather interesting. So all these bands right here don't have any of the original members left at all from when they started, which is kind of interesting. So if people give Pantera a hard time about the reunion tour and all this other stuff, it's one of those things. Um, do we want to accept that or not? Do we want to think that that's a good thing or not? I don't know. Um, Hopefully, I don't have anybody watching and talking at the same time. It's rather interesting that there was that many bands that actually have not had the original people in them, which some of them I don't know as well, unfortunately. Um, but they are definitely all really good bands, and it's kind of crazy that they're different from the original. Let's see what else. Interesting. That is rather interesting. So I didn't know that about OTEP. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, and that, and also the Pantera. I I knew certain people were replaced in that one, but Sepultura, the bass was it yeah, bassist Polio Jr. I didn't realize that he he basically was a part of that. I mean, he wasn't originally a part of that, which I didn't realize. It's Roberto Graffin, I think is how it is. That reminds me of Sacred Reich. Sacred Reich has I think still has the original singer. I know the bass player just recently was they had a younger gentleman that is basically as old as the last time they released their last album before they came back and started doing touring again, and which they actually have a new album out, I believe, which I don't remember what the name of it is, so I'll have to check that out. But what's rather interesting is that they have a guy that's playing bass for them, and it's because of the original bass's health is not the best in the world, so he can't perform, which is pretty sad. I feel bad that he's not there. And I think I've mentioned that before on a couple other episodes. Um, yeah, it's rather interesting. I think so. But can you believe that the guy is as old as the last time they actually released their last album? Go figure, like 20 some years later from before. Yeah, that's crazy. And actually, the guys are really great. They're still kicking butt and taking names, kind of like with Max and Igor. Um, yeah, it's so cool. So that was like a really good show. I got to see Max and Igor Cavalera. I got to see Sacred Reich, and I forgot the other band name. There was a smaller band. I didn't know that well, and they were pretty good. They were not too bad. The only thing is, I didn't get to see Crowbar with Sepultura when they were there. So I got to see both the original guys in Above the Rise, kind of like Sepultura reunion kind of deal. Well, it's the original songs they had. And also a band that hasn't had an album out in the last 20 years play with them along with the new Sepultura all at the same time. I thought, what a great time to have those concerts so close together. Um, it's pretty awesome. Great. Now my stream's not enough to provide a stable buffering, so hopefully it's not gonna be buffering while you guys are watching. Um, Also, I want to reiterate, speaking of bands, there are two bands that have the same name that apparently YouTube is clustered together. And I want you guys to know the difference between Insulter and Insulter. There's the Insulter Brazilian, like Sepultura, and Germany. The German one has a really fine lined logo, but it still has like armatures, I guess you could say. I forgot what they call it. Serif fonts with where they're kind of got like little, it's kind of circular, but it has like a, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. But anyway, the other one's kind of looks like a spill of blood if you look at the logo. That's the best way I can describe it on a visual level. So if you see the one that looks like a blood spill kind of level, check them out. They're really good. They're both good bands, but I'm trying to help those guys out because they are the ones that I've been talking to. The guy's been really awesome. I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't even know his name. So I got to find out his name. But yeah, he's been kind of discussing with me for a while about the whole problems and issues he's had with this. So I'm hoping that YouTube will finally or eventually get that squared away. He said he's going to try to do more Instagram and TikTok and all this other stuff to kind of get to pull hopefully away from that and have more viewers. So if you guys could do me a favor, a huge favor, make sure that if you do watch any of the videos on YouTube, check out the Real Insulter stuff. At least they consider themselves that. But you know what I'm talking about. We're talking Brazil versus Germany. So we're talking the Brazilian guys. So that way maybe they can finally, get out of this whole predicament they're in. He said if there was a label he was under, which I'm hoping he can sign on to. So if you are a label and you want a really phenomenal band, check them out. Very awesome. I love them. They're great. And I've gotten some really good reviews on it. So hopefully, I'm going to play a few more shorts with them. Hopefully, if they're okay with that, just to showcase some of their music so that way people can see it and view it and maybe get some buzz to that. And I've got those in the playlist. Also, just so you know, in the community as well, I have added a few playlists from YouTube Music. Some of them are recommended, they're auto playlists. So, and it's kind of an interesting mix of stuff. So I figure why not. Later on, I'm going to try to add some of my favorites. Also, I have added a special one, at least near and dear to my heart, which, even though they're upset with me right now, I'm still going to do it anyway because they had some phenomenal picks on there. So go check that out. It's the Van Channel one. I'm not going to say the person's name just in case because I don't want to get anybody upset with me. But check that out. It's awesome. It's labeled a certain person's name, Van's Channel 66. But yeah, that was what they had when they were doing that Van's Channel. And it was pretty awesome. I loved it. It was great. I got to see the whole thing. And I tried to do almost every one of the songs. I missed a few on a couple of them at the very beginning because I missed it. So, but just only a few minutes. So please check those out. I think, oh yeah, and there's videos too along with that. So there's a playlist on YouTube Music, or you can do it on YouTube. The Real Insulter is what I call it, and also Mind Incision. You gotta check them out. Somebody told me that they didn't like them as much, but that's one person's opinion. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. Leave a comment below in the video or whatever. Let me know what you guys think of both of those bands because I think they're going to be big. I think they're going to be awesome. I've been right before. I'm right. I think I'm going to be right now. Just like a lot of the other stuff I've been talking about, like other bands doing singles instead of a full album. There's so many other bands doing full albums right now. Why do a single? That's what I don't get. I'm not going to mention any names, but they know who they are if they ever watch this. So later on, I'm just saying, just letting you know. I might have to make a comment to them about it later on, so we'll see. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget, bang the like and subscribe button, and come back and watch the video again later on. Hopefully, tomorrow night I will have the sound on. I was thinking about doing a sound check and then kind of edit it out, but we'll see. Anyway, take care. Thanks for watching.